I think we're probably ready then, Nathan. Do you think?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
let's go ahead.
good. I'm you're recording. That's terrific. And we're very happy that you're here. I'm gonna start sharing my screen, maybe. It usually works out okay. All right. Okay. So this is, this is a creation spirituality communities labyrinth walk. And so I'll be making reference to the four paths in this one. I usually try to. My name's Mary Ann Wamhoff, and Nathan and I are just really happy that you're here. And there will be a recording of this, so you can watch it later. And some people sign up just to do that. And we've shown our labyrinths, Um, so that's the device. Those are the devices we'll use during this walk. And then if you need one, there are also options. Are there any questions about that or any difficulties anybody has? I think we'll move on then. So tonight we're celebrating the autumn equinox, which is a season of paradox. It really, when I thought about this walk and prepared for it, that's what came to me more than any other time. Perhaps because over the weekend, specifically yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock-ish, the new moon was a harvest moon. And um, when I was a little girl, that just never made any sense because the new moon was like black and not shiny and not the way a moon was supposed to look. And how can that be the harvest? How can that be carrying anything? Well, we've grown up a little bit. So I'm drawing a lot on some of Christine Walter Paintner's daily meditations that she sends out from Abbey of the Arts. If you don't know her, I highly recommend her. You love her too, I think, Nathan. Yeah.
Yeah,
And she says at the heart of autumn's gifts are the twin energies of relinquishing and harvesting. It's a season of paradox that invites us to consider what we're called to release and surrender. And at the same time, it invites us to gather in the harvest, to name and celebrate the fruits of the seeds we planted months ago. So back in the spring, we were planting intentions because, this is creation spirituality communities. We're not just talking about the fruits and vegetables, um, apples and nuts and grains that a lot of people, gardeners, plant. We're talking about what were our intentions for our own growth and development as well as our community, our society, our planet. Um, and goodness knows we have so much to be praying about and intending for the goodness of these circles. So, what are you called to release and surrender? And that's talking about, like the equinox finds us in this lovely midpoint. And I was thinking about this more this year also. We're halfway between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. In August, we celebrated Lammas, and we'll do Samhain in October. This is the second harvest. Halloween, Samhain is the third harvest. And so from now on, I think we really start to notice the lessening of the light in the morning and in the evening, and it gets cooler, and some of us love it. I do, but we're also, it used to kind of depress me, and I've known people who had the SAD, seasonal affective disorder. But now it's like, no, this is the Sabbath time. This is the time to hunker down, maybe invite folks to gather in a circle around a table or just a book club or around a fire, um, and tell stories or learn new learnings. It's a time for incubation, and you'll hear that word again during this presentation. So this is all the time because of the harvesting, the harvest moon, and the harvesting at this time of year. It's a time to think about what are we gathering? What do we gather from the summer? It could be that simple. What did you do this summer that you're gathering and holding close to yourself now? And so this incubation and rest. Christine Walters Paintner says autumn and winter are my favorite seasons. So I love this time of just beginning to really feel the darkness growing. She's living in Ireland, by the way. The doorway to mystery is beginning to open. I love that word, mystery. In the mystical tradition of Christianity, darkness is seen as a rich time of incubation and rest. So, as she asks, as you witness nature storing up her energies for the season of darkness ahead, what is your journey inwards, that spiritual journey, inviting you to attend to? And the reason it's so nice to ask these questions as we're getting ready for a labyrinth walk, the labyrinth is usually a place of metaphor. It's a metaphor for our life. As I circle around, I'm thinking about the first path, all the joy and beauty and awe and thanks. And as I enter, I'm thinking about this resting, letting go. What is it? Releasing, maybe tears, maybe. And then the third path is to me is in the center, the creativity. We're getting new eyes, as Joanna Macy says in the work that reconnects, to see. Seeing with new eyes enables us to create and recreate. And that's our job as human beings. And then we come back. We come back to figure out how we're going to live our sacred contract in the world. It's just really quite lovely. And we reflect a little bit. But it's all metaphor. It's all happening on this, for us today, this little thing. Alain, I think yours is probably the biggest, and yours is less than 2 feet wide, or I think, and some of the rest of us have an 8.5 by 11, and that's just fine. So, whoops, here we go. Um, we'll be waiting a lot in this season, waiting for, well, for gosh, it could be Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Advent in Christianity is a big time of waiting. But Christine Walters Paintner says this is a distinctly feminine way. Feminine in the sense that we all contain feminine energies no matter our gender. The sacred masculine is concerned with light, ascension, and progress, while the sacred feminine embraces darkness, descent, and waiting. I might add receptivity. Receptivity. So you might think about that if nothing else has resonated with you so far. What in what ways do the energies of the sacred feminine and sacred masculine within yourself manifest in your life? So I think this means I am ready to light our candle. If you have one, terrific. If you don't, that's okay. Because this is going to be the beginning of my land acknowledgement, and we're going to be getting ready to walk in just a few more minutes. So when I light the candle, and it can be for all of us, I'm thinking about enlightenment. I'm requesting enlightenment, that this experience can enlighten us, that everybody has different words and names. The mystery, the Holy Spirit can bring us enlightenment. We need wisdom. Matt Fox talks about we need wisdom, not just information. And I think about the Big Bang, the first flaring forth, and how that produced us. So I'm inviting holiness to be with us. I learned during the pandemic from Diane Longboat that anything important begins with thanks. And that is the first path of creation spirituality. And so we're going to begin with thanks. That's what this is. And that was reinforced by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And she writes about, her books are wonderful. She's a Potawatomi botanist. She's a mom. She founded the center at SUNY, the State University of New York, for the environment, and she talks about kinship and how appreciation when we spend time with nature and we really spend time noticing each entity as an individual and trying to listen to the voice of each entity, we develop an appreciation for that entity, each of them, and we begin to think of them as our kin. And we want to spend more time with them, and the cycle just keeps continuing. And in my opinion, that's exactly what the earth needs now. We need this kinship relationship. And so I thank the cosmos. And if you want to use body prayer and reach up with me, that's fine. You can. And I won't be standing up because I have to concentrate, run my slides. So the cosmos, as I started out a little while ago, began 13.81 billion years ago. It's very, very big and it's growing still, and it's growing very quickly, very, very fast. Thank you, Cosmos. And I thank the earth, and I learned the directions that the Cherokee pray to from my friend Judy Shook, whose grandpa was Cherokee. So when I look north, I thank the earth, and I'm made out of the earth. I'm made out of the cosmos also. Thank you, earth. And I look east and I take a big breath in because the east brings us air. The east brings us a lot of things, but it's the air within my lungs that I'm so grateful for. And I live in a place where the air is pretty pure, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, air. And then I look south to the fiery sun that sacrifices itself for us and will continue if the pattern continues for many, many years, billions of years beyond us. And the sun enables the plants to enjoy photosynthesis. And then we have the plants for our sustenance and to beautify the world. Thank you. Thank you, sun. Thank you, fire. I look west to water and I think about how I can't live with water. My body is more water than it is solid. Of course, we're all flowing energy within flowing energy, but anyway, water and how we have pure water and we get it with just the turning of a tap. And so many people on earth, um, in many, many countries, I'm thinking of African countries, I'm thinking of Gaza, have no water, much less clean water. Thank you, water. Thank you, water. And I look to the stars and I think about how calcium came from the stars, the stardust, and that's within my bones. And I want my bones to strengthen. I thank you, stars. And I look to the foundation. I look to the ground and under the ground. I look to the stones, the memory keepers of this planet, and I look to the mycelial system that communicates with roots of trees and connects trees. So it's one big giant community. Thank you, Foundation. And the soul within me reminds me that I'm just a little tiny part of this giant web. And I want to do my part better than I ever have. And I thank you. I thank you, web. I thank you, soul. I thank the plants and the animals. Gosh, the diversity is just incredible. And I thank human beings because that's the proper starting point for human history. They held ceremony before we got here, and some folks were farming, some folks were herding, some folks were grazing, some folks were nomadic, but they held their ceremonies and are connected to the land in ways that we could aspire to, and it would improve, I think, our relationship with the planet. Thank you. Here where I live, um, the Monacan tribe, as I told you earlier, is this is their homeland. And Diane Shields is the present tribal chief of the Monacan Indian Nation. And I just want to express regret that you had to fight for recognition of your ancestral homeland. You had to fight in U.S. courts, as many, many tribes have had to do. I regret that. So I honor you and your emerging young folks. And there's this lovely poem from a book I have called Shaman Circle. Nancy Wood lived on the Taos Pueblo with the Taos Pueblo people for a while and wrote this book. And this is the whole poem. She calls it Autumn, the Sweeping of Mother Earth's Navel. Thanks be to the Creator. Now, in this time of harvest and plenty, we remember our connection to the earth. As she prepares to sleep, our work begins. At dawn, we sweep Mother Earth's navel from which our prosperity comes. We leave offerings of corn and beans. We remember the departing birds and animals also. Let's see. Yeah. Our music tonight, I've got about 8 minutes of music selected. The first is done by Cynthia Jordan, and it's called Autumn Equinox. And the second is Japanese flute music on an album called Fall Equinox. So I do urge you to spend maybe 3 circles of your labyrinth, um, counting your blessings, thinking about what you're harvesting. Are we set? Has anybody never walked a labyrinth before? Anybody who has any questions before we jump in? Okay, I'm going to stop this. I hope you have a good walk, and I'm going to try to begin this music. And we'll come back together in a little while. If you haven't yet, you might want to think about soon bringing your walk to a conclusion. As you do that, I'll read one more piece. This came into my mailbox this morning. I've never ever planned a walk based almost entirely on Christine Walter's painter, but she always finds her way into these slides. The autumn equinox announces the time to gather in our resources and our energies, to move into a period of dormancy. That reminds me of the hummingbirds feasting, beefing up, as I call it, getting ready for their migration. So this is a time when we typically share, those who choose to, um, any insights from the walk. And we might want to share specifically how we can intentionally welcome the gifts that will sustain us through the dark nights ahead and let go of that which is not essential, no longer essential. So, what are we gathering? What are we releasing? How are we going to enter the darkness? I think that's the end. So if you want to take yourself off mute, and if anyone has something to share, let's see, Nathan, I guess this is a pretty small group, so you can probably just
Yeah,
indicate.
that should work.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need to raise hands. Yes, John.
John.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about thresholds. And of course, the equinox and the social are always thresholds. And I've always liked John O'Donohue's. And he talks a lot about thresholds. There's a great complexity of emotions, confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, and hope. And I've always kind of gone to that particular um, reading on the thresholds. But interestingly enough, in the one meditation I have from John O'Donohue, he also mentions Christine Walters Painter in her book, The Soul's Slow Ripening.
Yes.
She talks about when old structures start to fall away and we begin to build something new. And certainly, I'm experiencing that in terms of what all is happening in the world and whatever. So finding my place in the midst of all of that, and the way it puts it is, or Painter says, what are we clinging to too tightly? Our need to be right, our need to feel secure, or our wanting to be in control. And so I guess for me, as I'm looking at those three things and wondering, in light of all the drama and chaos that's going externally, how when I come internally, I find that sense of peace and serenity. So that's kind of the reflections I was doing during the Labyrinth walk.
Mm. Thanks for sharing, John, and John O'Donohue, and Christine. Yeah, thanks. We certainly are on an important threshold. Yeah. We're going to be having at some point, probably in the new year, some work with Theodore Richards, where he has, for a number of years now, he's written books about it and he's worked with groups about reimagining. What is this new cosmology we want? What do we want to reimagine our world to be? So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Anyone else? Welcome, Sharon.
Autumn has always been one of my favorite times of the year. I grew up in Minnesota, and of course, we had the autumn leaves falling and the crisp air and the pumpkins and all the harvest from our gardens and everything. Now I live in Florida and it's summer all year. So it's a different kind of paradise down here. But as I was walking the labyrinth and remembering the four directions at our Sunday service next Sunday, we're having our water communion, and we're celebrating the four directions. We'll have things at four sides of our sanctuary, and I'm going to be on the water side, celebrating the color blue. But to me, this season has always been a season of gratitude and thanks. And I'm reminded of Meister Eckhart, who said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it's enough. And you talked about walking into the darkness. Every morning, my dog gets me up at 5:30. And so I get to walk into the darkness in my backyard. Right now, for a while, Venus and Jupiter were right next to each other, and they are now separated. 2 days ago, Venus and the moon were right next. They were almost touching. So I start the morning by greeting the planets, my sister stars, my brother trees, my mother earth, and I say thank you to all of them. Every day starts with thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't always feel that way at the moment. My dog wakes me up, but it's walking before dawn is a beautiful time of the day because everything is so calm and peaceful. The air is so clean and silent. I live on a street, there's no through traffic, it's just people who live on the street, and I know who's coming and going and who's going to work and who's taking their children to school and who's picking up somebody else. And but we all know each other and we wave as I'm walking my dog. And so it's a beautiful time to walk into the darkness. And I think darkness is underrated.
I agree. Thank
Yeah,
you.
really. And in Minnesota, I was a sun worshiper. Um, Here in Florida, I've become more of a star worshiper.
Nice.
And and sometimes I give sermons at church, and I created my own prayers that uh, I am made of stardust. I'm made of starlight. I am part of the universal consciousness. And that's something you can feel at 5 or 6 in the morning when you're out there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you talked about the land acknowledgement. We do that on the first Sunday of every month. We acknowledge the Calusa Indians who were originally on our part of the state. Unfortunate, the Calusa Indians were all wiped out. We now have the Seminoles who moved in from the north. And we have had Betty Osceola, the leader of the Seminoles, come and speak to us at our church. So we have that strong connection. And there's been a movement for people to adopt land acknowledgements, acknowledging the indigenous people, because there's so much we can learn from them. So I loved all your introductory comments and things, and it's a joy to be with this group. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Joyce. It's a joy for us to have you join us, and thank you for sharing. That was very rich. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Alain, you're muted.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Joy brought in the planets. I first want to say that I'm letting go of my busy mind intellect, welcoming intuition and insight. And that comes with silence. I'm aware also that we are in a very special time, astronomically and astrologically speaking. And I won't go in deep details, but the three outer planets are in a wonderful triangle And that's Saturn, Neptune, and I'm gonna miss the last one. But it's conditions that have not existed for centuries. Some people, it goes all the way back to the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire. So I think it may be also that I am expectant. I am aware that there are some new energies that are coming through, but I probably cannot be aware of them and being not divine flow without silence and meditation. So that's what I was thinking of mostly as I was walking the labyrinth.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. And you know, the labyrinth has been associated with increasing our ability to access our intuition and our creativity.
Mm.
And it precisely the mechanism, it works because as we concentrate on the one path, unicursal, that's what a labyrinth is, we don't have to make decisions. We don't have to make decisions. I mean, we decide to enter the labyrinth and you decide to enter the center, yeah, those are decisions. But then you're on the path and you can suspend your left brain activity and allow the right brain to hear
Yes.
there. Yeah.
And it's the first time I used my wooden labyrinth. I bought it a number of years ago, but I've never used it, especially in a conscious way. And it was wonderful to be guided by my finger around and enjoying all the curves and the outer and the inner. And so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I like the meander of the labyrinth. We get close to the center. Oh no, no, we're not there yet. And when you think you're never going to get there, you're there.
And I walked it in Chartres when I
Mhm.
was still in France.
Mhm.
And it was a wonderful opportunity as well, although I was not in the same level of consciousness that I'm in now. So, but I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, the labyrinth does its thing, whether 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 we're conscious of it or not. Thank you, Alan. That was nice.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Mary Catherine, did you do okay?
I didn't have the labyrinth. I couldn't get it on my phone either, so
Hmm.
I wasn't able to. But I think I'll just buy one. I think that'll be the good thing to do. Have
Okay.
one.
Well, I look forward. I guess the next time we're together would be Halloween, right? For this Samhain would be, we've been celebrating the earth-based holidays of the Celtic wheel, you know.
Mm.
You gather, I love Celtic spirituality and because this is creation spirituality communities, I think it seems fitting to work with creation, the earth-based holidays that are so rich. Yeah. And really connected with so many other the holidays of so many other traditions. Yes, Sharon.
Yeah, I apologize for being late. I just saw this and
Oh,
came. But thank you for this. It was very, very nurturing to me. I'm in the need of this solace, and I forgot about this ability. And it also helped me bring out my labyrinth, which was made for me
Oh, wow.
years ago by a man named George Smith. And so I thought a lot about him and wondered about him because I haven't been in contact for a long time. But I love this labyrinth, and
Beautiful.
it came with love from he and his wife to me.
Yeah.
And um, and the feeling of it was incredibly soothing for me. And I'm sorry I missed your opening, but I'm glad I came.
Me too, Sharon. And Nathan can tell you it'll be on YouTube if you want to catch the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yeah,
yours
we have
looks,
a whole playlist of all of the ones that we've recorded, so you can spend time with that at any time.
Thank you very much.
yours is similar to Alain's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I want a wooden one. Uh-oh. No place to put the wooden one.
Mine hangs on the wall.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have any more wall space. Oh, wait, under the window. Oh. Well, let's see. Anybody else? We've got time. I don't want to cut anyone off.
I was very grateful for the description of a time that many people think of negatively, where they're very sad. Oh, the leaves are going to fall. It's going to start to get cold. It's going to start to get dark. But I just it is a rich time, and I happen to love the darkness also. And I love the night. I've always loved the night. There were two phrases, storing up energies and what is no longer essential. And for a brief second, I was concerned. I got a little neurotic about, well, how will I know what's no longer essential? But during our discussion today, I think it was John mentioned about what we have no control over. And then Marianne, you reminded us that on the path, we need not make decisions. So that was what I needed to hear. I don't need to worry about what is no longer essential, is that energy will be stored up. I don't make a decision about that. I have no control over what will be stored up. So that's my takeaway for the labyrinth. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Lori. Very nice. Yeah.
Yesterday at our church, we celebrated Sun Day, 2 words, in honor of the equinox. And part of what we did was we listened to a passionate speech by Al Gore about receiving the solar energy, which is a free gift from the universe, and how we need to spread the use of solar energy so that we can save the planet Earth and keep the air clean and the water clean. And then also choosing what's essential. For me, the equinox is always a matter of balance, sustainability. And for that, it's essential that we reduce our waste. Don't waste things. Our waste barrels that we put out every week for collection should be almost empty. I see my neighbor's waste bag and they don't even hold all their waste. They have piles of stuff next to mine is almost empty because I believe sincerely in choosing what's essential and not having waste. And those are all ideas that come at the time of the equinox as we restore balance, and we thank the universe, we thank the sun for the gift of the energy that's sent to us at no charge. There's no charge, and the sun doesn't ask us to give anything back except appreciation and proper use. So yeah, you establish those relationships, and I think it's an important thing to do at this time of the year.
Thanks, Joyce. Yeah, balance. Yeah. Which has to do with justice, for the planet. Yeah. Yeah. Rich conversation. I love it. I want to read one more little poem because a friend posted this on Facebook. This is a priest, and I asked if he wrote it. He didn't say, but anyway, it's just 2 short stanzas, and I want to tell you 2 things. In the first stanza, the words in the first line, hunter, healer, harpist, are all capitalized. Okay, you're talking to someone. And the whole second stanza, I think, is the reply. It's in quotation marks. He didn't entitle it. Oh, yes, he did. Fall Equinox 2025. Tell us, hunter, healer, harpist, for whom night shines like day and the day glows like night, how to sow anew as darkness falls and the worn out world frays and rots. Balanced and stable, bringing in bounty, gathered at tables, collecting lights, nourishing wisdom nowadays rare, coming together, constant and bright. So with that, my candle already went out, but I'm gonna, we can pretend that it's still there. I'm gonna take the light, and you can do this with me if you choose to. Take a light into your mind for that enlightenment I was talking about, and into your heart. And put it any place else where you want it. And we blow it out and share it with one another. Thank you so much for being here. It was such a joy. Thank you, Nathan, for
Thank you.
supporting us.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is great.
Yeah, it was great. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned. Good things happening.
That's right.
You want to announce anything? Oh, I guess maybe.
Um,
It's up to you.
well, I mean, I was gonna say, we're about to kick off another cycle of cosmogenesis for anybody who's interested, but there will be more announcements about that coming out soon. So,
Yeah. And if you remember, we hope you remember, we have an annual meeting. You can
yes.
come and check it out. Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.